Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Fearless Leader.
Here we go. Now we're recording. The thing I forgot to do last meeting, and you guys don't know this, but off camera, Steve is very mean, and he really tore into me for about 10 minutes. No, that's not true. All of you know, no, it's not true. So today's the big day. Today's the deadline day.
Oh, for the networking sign up, you mean? For the
national networking.
Yeah. Well, I've done my best to try to reach out to my team and try to express the importance of it. And we've got a pretty good turnout. I see you're doing really well in Mission Valley, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you. But there's still so many agents who have not registered.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the registration link in the comments here.
Well, I think in some ways it's a form of prospecting, isn't it? Because you're being asked to engage with people you don't know, and maybe you want to do that, maybe you don't. I can only say that in my personal experience, the best deal I ever got was the knock on the door and said, "Hey, can you take care of these people?" That sort of handoff. I'll take those all day long. In fact, I would have wished my career would have ended up where 90% of my business came that way, but never seemed to achieve that level of success. But it is definitely the best lead you'll ever get as a referral.
Well, and there's even more to it. That this Wednesday, I'm curious how many here, just raise your hand for a second if you have not registered yet. I saw a comment from Heather. Okay. So here's a couple things to think about. Like Heather, you have your daughter's graduation, so you can't make it. I would still ask you to register.
Okay.
There's going to be information coming out afterward.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be not just on referrals. I mean, there's a lot of how to use some of our tools to generate more business. That's going to be a part of this. I was at that sneak peek meeting last week. I think you were there as well, Steve. It's going to be worth it. Even if you can't be there live or virtually, you're going to get information after the fact. But here's the real reason. Can I share the real reason?
Yes.
There's a contest among sales managers. Who gets the highest percentage sign up? And the ones who do get to split money from national headquarters to spend on their office.
Wow.
And some of us, not Steve and I, of course, liar, are hyper competitive. And we want to win the damn thing.
Okay, well, that's fair, but I just didn't want to RSVP and then be that person that doesn't show up, and then there's a spot for me, and I took someone else's spot. I hate that.
Oh, no. Matter of fact, the registration isn't even reserving spots. What it's really doing is just letting Compass know how many agents are interested or will generate interest in something like this.
Okay, awesome. Well, then I'll do it.
So if you haven't registered, please register. Today's the last day, and get your team to register. All right, that's my public service announcement for our competition.
Yeah. Well, actually, I agree with that. And the other thing is that we've been saddled up with teams of other managers. And so some of the managers, I will not be going to Atlanta. I've already made that decision. So, but I'd hate to not the reason I've been trying to get registrations up for my team is, number one, I believe in the power of relationships. Mm-hmm. So I don't care about the contest. The contest is secondary to me. But the second part of it is that I have a responsibility to those folks who are trying to gain possibly a registration as a sales manager. And I don't want to just lay an egg and not do my part to help, as a team member. So that's what it means to be part of a team, is to do your part, right? And so that's why I've been trying to drive signups, because I do believe there's value that's coming from this presentation. I've seen agents, I've worked with agents who have built a very lucrative referral network that, in one case, an agent who's not with Compass, but someone I know very well out of the Dallas market, who was the personal realtor of Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys back in the day that I worked with this individual. Her name, by the way, is Mary Harker, so she's not a secret agent. You can look her up. Mary Harker was making over $450,000 a year just on referrals. That was that segment of her GCI. And when I asked her how she was doing that, it wasn't a sophisticated thing like we're talking about here, where you build a network of a pod of agents that can build this relationship that goes forward. over many years, she was simply sending out postcards every 28 days of Mark Victor Hansen's stories from Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'm like, really? That's what you're doing? She goes, yeah. She goes, people love these stories. They put them on their refrigerators. They share them with family and friends. And I built up a $400,000 a year plus GCI from it. Like, wow, pretty impressive. So anyway, to me, that's the main reason, is to build a relationship where you can get the easiest lead you'll ever get. And I think they're going to be more important as the market. If the market's going to cool off a little bit, we're going to want every opportunity to get as many leads as possible. Am I right?
You're right, and I appreciate you making me look bad and greedy.
No, I'm not making you feel greedy. No, no. I'm simply stating that, I feel a responsibility, and you're right.
Of course.
It's good. It's good to want to win.
The truth, yes, and there's a couple of things about this that really strike me, and I don't know why more of our agents aren't doing it. We are a destination city.
Yep.
I mean, if you're a real estate agent in San Diego, you should be hitting on referrals hard.
Yeah.
It would be really hard. I'm sorry, no offense to anyone, but if you're an agent like Des Moines, Iowa, well, you're probably not going to get that many referrals. But San Diego, this is the place a lot of people are still coming to. Even though a lot of people here are leaving, a lot of people from the East Coast and the North are coming here. And what they're showing is how easy this is no different than marketing to your SOI. This is, first of all, putting out a video. That's one of the things they're going to show on Wednesday. I think it's going to be recorded. But they're going to show how easy it is. It took the guy about 10 seconds to create a little video using stuff that's already in the Compass tools. And out that went to all the people that he knew, letting everyone know that I've got agents all over the nation. So there's an easy referral coming to you when you send that person out to an agent. And then you turn on your SOI to send an email message out to various agents throughout the nation that you connect with, that we're going to connect with on Wednesday. And just say, hey, I'm your agent in San Diego. In case anybody wants to come to the most beautiful place on earth, I'm here.
Right.
It takes no effort once you set it up. And it's, like you said, it's just lay down business.
Yeah, and I think that what I've seen, or the reason why networking does fail mainly, is because we go to these events, even retreats, and there's like a contest to hand out as many business cards as possible, instead of like focusing on the relationship that you can build with an individual. We feel that if we collect as many business cards as possible, we've done something that will help improve our referral network. And I think that's just the opposite. You want to focus on building a relationship so that when someone thinks of that community, they're thinking of you. An idea that I had this morning when I was walking my dog was, all of us have experiences with best businesses. Yet when I look at most websites, particularly as real estate professionals, where we're seen as the gatekeepers of so much important information, I don't see any links to like my best business picks. So imagine like if you want to help. Let me back up. If you participate in the networking event and you can start establishing connections throughout the country, the dialogue shouldn't be, do you have any leads for me? It's, how can I help you with your business, Sean? How can I help you with your business? And if I get to know and trust and believe in you, then wouldn't it be awesome if I had a link on my website, my favorite business picks, and then here's Sean Purcell in Dallas, Texas. My best pick for Dallas, Texas real estate agent, Sean Purcell. My best pick for Encinitas real estate agent, Sean would have, is Steve Salinas. Or a local business. These are the things that will start to drive people to you for sources of information. And you can do this not only with the agents, by the way, with the plumber, the restaurant, any service provider that you have established a covenant with. And covenant, I mean, it's an unbreakable bond that for those of you that use a certain plumber, there's only one plumber you will ever call. That's the person or gal that ends up on your site. You're not just throwing random things that you think are okay. So these are covenant relationships that you have. And you will find that they will pay a dividend to you in terms of the traffic to your site and helping Sean build his business. He's going to help me build mine. And I mean, to me, that law of reciprocity is so important. And it's the opportunity that having a meaningful relationship or meaningful networking pod can provide you. And one last thought, Sean, if I may. We are, as Compass is a fairly good-sized company with 26,000 plus agents. That's big, but it is relatively small compared to our competition. So to have the opportunity to establish these intimate relationships while we're still in our infancy, I promise you, is a huge opportunity for you.
I absolutely agree. And you got me thinking about this more local too. I mean, obviously the networking days are a big push this week, but referrals are referrals. And even the local plumber, for instance, you talk about.
Yeah.
I love that when you said, when you have a covenant, when we have this level of trust. And there's something I want to add, of course, from the psychological aspect of things, but on where referrals actually come from. And most of you probably know this, but I'm gonna put it out there to make it specific. Referrals come from expertise, demonstrated expertise. Too many agents I ask, well, how do you get referrals? Well, I worked really hard for them. Or God forbid, I cut my discounted my commission for them. That you wouldn't want that referral to begin with. Where people would do referrals is when they can look good. I mean, deep down, everybody wants to look good. We don't admit it, but it's true.
That's right.
And if I can recommend Steve to somebody in the North County, I got a friend who wants to buy a home, and I can show off. Listen, you're looking for a home? I got a guy. I could share him with you, if you want. It makes me look good that I've found someone who's really good, and what a good guy I am that I'll share him with you.
Yeah.
If Steve's so good that I can show off myself by referring him, that's where referrals come from. That demonstrated expertise that you already have built in when you have a covenant with somebody.
That's right. 100%. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all
There's
about.
another direction to take this also. Something that I think is still a very viable way to generate business, the B2B. That's basically referral-driven business, just the way you're describing it, Steve. Hey, if anybody needs a dry cleaner, I'm going to send them to you. And if you happen to have a client or a customer talking about real estate, send them to me. That doesn't happen overnight the first time you go into your dry cleaners, but you start putting together a list of your trusted resources in your market and actually go in and chat with them and ask, who's your ideal client? What does your ideal client look like? How can I help you grow your business? Hey, I'm going to be doing open houses. I get to meet a lot of people new to the neighborhood. I would love for them to find out about your coffee shop before they find the great big chain. That's a great resource that you have for local businesses. And over time, they'll feel the law of reciprocity, the same thing toward you.
That's right. Well, if you think about the power of a network, so many of our folks on this call are parts of networks that they value with tremendous respect, whether it's Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, Floyd Wickman. I can go down the list of people of small groups. I actually placed a call to Sky Michaels. It was last Thursday. Now, I'm sure he's busy. I haven't heard back, so I think I'm going to email him today because I haven't heard back from him. But I have this idea that I hope, and for all I know, they're probably going to adopt it because I haven't seen what the schedule is like. But I have this vision of, imagine that all the participants in the networking class this coming Wednesday are placed in pods of 10 agents, no more than 10. And you're connected with 10 agents in Austin, and 10 agents in Miami, and 10 agents in New York, and 10 agents in Chicago, and 10 agents in San Francisco. You see where I'm going with this? And then that group, that connected group, which could approach, and it's going to seem like, well, how can you have an intimate relationship with 500 plus agents? Trust me, you can. If that group stays connected and on a quarterly basis, they're checking in to see how they can help each other with their business, sharing best practices and talking about the referrals that they've shared with one another as to maintain that sense of relationship and the continuity that comes from being able to remember somebody. Because this is the difference between giving a bunch of people your business card at a networking event and you don't even remember, you don't even know who they are. So you just need to establish the relationship for it to be valuable. And if you guys could meet that group broken down in small groups and meet on a quarterly basis where you're driving that meeting just to talk about, hey, what's going on in your business? What's going on in your market? How can I help? How can we help? I don't know. I don't know of a stronger network than that.
I see a great mastermind coming out of that as well.
Yeah, potentially.
And the idea of being able to either once a month or even if it's just from time to time, put a question out to the group. And they're all Compass agents, so they know the tools, right? There's a certain level of, I don't sound, high and mighty, but Compass hires a certain type of agent. I mean, you're getting a certain level of agent when you're talking to another Compass agent. And to get feedback from around the nation, how are you guys doing this there? Are you seeing a slowdown or just an actual slowdown in sales or a slowdown in growth? What's going on where you are? That's some pretty heady information.
Yes. Excellent point you make.
Well, I'm just going off of your great idea.
Well, I don't know if it's a great idea or not. I just feel like I think it's a good idea.
Well, we're going to see how smart Sky Michaels is now.
I don't know, but I'm going to send them an email and just see. Or, maybe they have something planned that's better than that. But the idea is that when you put yourself into a brainstorm or you connect yourself with high-minded people, there's nothing more powerful than being in a group of people where you know you're the least intelligent person in the room. I mean, I love that. And that's what I find a lot of times at Compass. It's a very humbling, but very powerful experience. If you're a learning-based person, of course.
Yeah, my dad used to tell me, if you're the smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Love being in our sales manager meetings for that reason right there.
Sure.
You're stunned by the knowledge that's out there and the experience that's out there.
And just the different types of experiences. When you're in a group of people, a group of 10, a small group, it's not so big that you don't have a voice. It's small enough for you to experience each other and to know that everyone has been battle tested in so many different ways in this business. So you said earlier about referrals, by the way, when someone says, I have a specialty person. Like this weekend, I had an agent reach out to me and said, I have clients. They're pursuing a property in this community, which I'll, name nameless. They're trying to get creative in their financing. They can do this, they can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And so what lit up that conversation is when I responded by saying, if they need to speak to someone who is very good at coming up with ways to seek creative financing and will get the deal done, I got the guy. Mm-hmm. This is a guy, not a gal, but I got the guy. And I got a heart emoji. So you're right. So if you've got a solution to a problem and you've got a comment with that person, it's a done deal. If and when I speak to my agent today, I give her that name, that there's going to be a contact made, guaranteed. This is what we're talking about. This is the power of this stuff, So
especially with a group as large as ours.
Yes.
You got to feel good about solving a problem because you did have an expert. You had a name.
Yeah.
And whoever that lender is stood out in your mind because they've at least created the image. They've shown you somehow this particular specialty, which goes to the thing we've been talking about a lot lately. You need to have some expertise, some niche, some area where you stand out. Not that you'll be limited doing only business there, but that's how you're remembered. That's how people can remember to refer you.
That's right.
What is your specialty? What is your elevator pitch, your differentiator? That's a great one for a lender, right? I'm creative and I create solutions.
Yeah, and I think remember how you're perceived by your clients and your internal networks, right? I mean, an agent comes to me, I'm the sales manager. So if I'm going to release a covenant relationship, they're expecting everything I say to be what? True.
Right. Absolutely.
And if I'm going to put that stamp on it, then you can expect that to put myself in that situation, that I expect that this person is going to do the things they say they were going to do, when they say they were going to do it, how they say they were going to do it. That's all you need to do, is be a person of your word. So
I'm curious, taking this down to like a granular level, in your opinion, how often should you ask for a referral during a transaction? Your thoughts on that?
I think you're always vying for business, and people, when you are successful in a transaction, they are thinking about ways to share you with others, because we want to be that person that can help other people. I know I find that myself wanting to do that too if I'm meeting with a neighbor, but in a transaction, if there's a timing for it, I mean, I think when you ask too early before you've established the trust, like if I think it'd be really wonky, which I've never done, to just meet someone and in the span of 3 hours start asking them if there's anyone else they know that I might be able to help. I mean, I don't know. I think if you're asking me, Sean, and I'm not saying this is the right way, I would ask for the business probably somewhere between a month to 3 months after the close. Because what I'm going to do as a system is I'm going to close the deal and I'm going to been who I'm supposed to be for them. Then I'm going to follow up after the sale to make sure things are what they're supposed, that they're happy, that there are no problems with the home. And showing that level of care and concern allows me at some point and shortly after the close to say, is there anyone else that you think could benefit from my services, and do it in a way that, an assumptive close kind of way, where you're not directly asking for business, but you make the inference that I grow my business on the success of relationships like the type you and I have built. And if you know of somebody that could benefit from my services, I would be more than grateful, appreciative for you to share my information.
That's interesting. I was always taught to ask during the transaction when something positive happens. The appraisal comes in well. The buyer's cleared for docs.
Yeah.
When the person's in a very positive. And I thought of this as you were talking. I knew a lender that did ask up front, but I thought it was a very almost endearing way that he would say, once they've agreed to work together, he would say, now I want to share something with you, kind of an expectation I have. You have an expectation that I will communicate and I will get this loan done the way I described, no matter what. My expectation is 2 referrals. And I'll tell you why. I either have to spend my time working on loans, which is what I love to do, to get people the solution that they're looking for. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Or I have to spend my time generating new business. I want to spend time with my clients. I find my clients want me to spend time taking care of them. And the way I do that is by not having to spend time looking for clients, because I get referrals. It was that type of message. I thought it's almost setting an expectation and saying, wouldn't you rather me spend all my time working with you than having to drum up new business?
Right. And I have no problem. No, I it's not my style, right? But that's okay, because we all have a different style and a comfort level with how we want to approach people. I feel like I want to earn the business first. And so before I would ever ask for anything, I want to be able to demonstrate that I am who I say I am. Mm-hmm. And so, and then I do it after the sale, because I know I have a follow-up campaign where most agents, it's at the end of the deal, they're done. People never hear from their agent again. Yeah, I mail them once a year, or I send them a birthday card, or that's not connecting with. That's not building a referral-based relationship. To do that is to maintain contact, to show that you have great care and concern for them, and you do things by your actions that show people that you value them, you appreciate them, and that your life is better because they're in it. To me, that's the highest form of relationship, if I can establish those things. And so to me, that my timing is, as I said, it's shortly thereafter the sale. And by shortly, I mean within 3 months. But I would have demonstrated to me what I'm going to do. I just more comfortable with that. But if I met a gentleman that laid out and presented to me just as you described, that would not rub poorly on me. It would be a notch in I'd be paying attention.
You'd remember it.
I remember it, and I'd be, okay, now show me your work. Show me you can do that. So again,
right.
I just gave you how I would do it. I would tell you that would have a positive impact on me. It wouldn't be a negative. He would just be putting himself under my scrutiny.
I like that.
Because what happens when we say, give it to me now? You are going to be judged in the harshest possible light, right? You're going to, okay, you say you're that, show me you're that. And
but it feels less salesy because you're putting it up front.
Yeah.
This is how I run my business.
Yeah.
Anyway. And when you just said people, once a year, or they don't develop a referral base, and that's the whole CRM system, the whole idea, which you and I know from past studies that something like 97% of all agents don't do, is have a regular action plan that's going out. that maintains that, like you said, that value. And it can be so different. You could be the warm, fuzzy person who's providing personal value once or twice a month. You could be the person who's not, look, I'm not going to be your best friend, but I'm going to keep you updated on your market, your equity, your home, the taxes, when they things that are, whoever you are, you still bring a value. You bring the value of who you are.
That's right. And the value of an effective CRM is it allows you to establish the proper cadence and treat people as individuals. To do something the same across the platform is to disrespect your relationship. If I have clients that are real chatty and they like to talk it up, and I've had those, and I'm not that type, but I've had to adapt and be appropriate in the moment. I know that the cadence for my contact with them to show that I really value them has to be more frequent than someone who's more professorial and more pensive and the accountant type, which checking in with Sean, I'm gonna use your name here, once every 6 months or once a year is good enough. I will know that because my emotional intelligence will tell me that. Now, not everyone has a high level of EQ, and I think that they don't. But I think what you wanted, the power of a CRM allows you to establish that cadence for each individual to know, and that's how you maintain meaningful, strong relationships, not just painting with the broad brush.
I need to ask a question of the group now, because I would do it differently from what you're saying. This would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
If you guys will put in the remarks, how many of you feel like you do not have a strong action plan or a strong follow-up plan in place in the CRM? In other words, wondering if Steve and I should do an Inside the Huddle on the way our different action plans would look.
Mm-hmm.
Put in the remarks whether you feel you have a good, strong action plan already in place, or you could use one, or yours could use further development. A C+. There's a good, honest answer right there. I love it.
That's John. He's awesome.
Do some work.
Tells it like it is.
Shannon saw your open house sign today up in Steve's neck of the woods. Good job.
Yeah.
Mine could be better. I need some help. Absolutely could use some work. You know what, Steve? This would be interesting, because I think we come at it from different ways as well.
We would. And again, just like everything, every time I went into a training, I treated it like a smorgasbord, right? I took what I like, I left what I didn't, because
right.
You can't motivate anybody to do something they're not or not comfortable with. So but to be a learning-based person is to just be open to the idea and say, if it's possible to do something this way, just like a moment ago when you shared that pitch with that mortgage gentleman, I would be open to that. I'm being, not that would I instantly start sending referrals? No, but I'm going to look at him with, so I would take from that, right? You take from everything. And I think in a training situation like this, to help agents understand that I believe there is a cadence you have to have so that you're not over communicating or under communicating. There's a sweet spot there that will give you maximum effectiveness. And I would love to talk about that from my point of view.
And the comments back that up. I think it would be the one objective I would have of doing that isn't that the way Sean says to do it's the only right way. The way Steve says to do it's the only right way.
Yeah, no.
The takeaway is I have something in place that I'm proud of.
Yes, that's right.
That's the key, is to have an action plan that you say, that makes me feel good. It keeps me top of mind with my past clients, my SOI. Because it's the number one resource we have for business. It's our highest conversion rate. And we can always do a better job. I'm glad this came up.
What I love about you, Sean, is you're probably, in my many years now doing this and working with colleagues as sales managers, you all should know that every meeting I've ever been to with Sean, every single meeting, he's there with a notepad. He's got a pen out and he's taking notes. And he's taking notes on, it could be anything. But what he's demonstrating by his actions is that he's a learning-based person. And if there's an idea that he can implement that will better his world, he'll execute it, right? And that's what it means to be learning-based. You take what you like and you leave what you don't. Now, there's a gray area there too, because sometimes what we don't like that we're hearing, we may procrastinate, put that off, where the inner voice is telling us, hey, dum-dum, you need to pay attention to that, but I don't like going to networking events. I don't like going to parties. I don't like, well, that's Ma Nature's way sometimes of telling you, you need to like. You need to start thinking about ways to figure out ways to like. But we can talk about that.
I want to comment on it strongly, but Lauren raised his hand.
Yes.
Let's hear the question, Lauren. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm out running. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good for you.
So, and thanks for teaching me while I'm running. My hybrid answer to both of your questions would be, and I need to work on the language more, but thanks for using me, for hiring me to do this job for you. At some point during this process, you're going to know that you picked the right person. And
love it.
When you come to that point, I want you to remember me to all the people you care about, friends, family that are moving. And it doesn't have to be just in San Diego. They could be moving in Austin. They could be moving from Philadelphia to Austin. We've taken the time to curate a collection of people we know when we refer you, you're going to get the best service possible. So it's not right now because I know we're just getting started. But when that happens, just shoot me an email.
Gosh.
That's bad. I'm writing that down, of course.
Yeah.
That's really good, Lauren.
That's like an A+ right there. I love that. That feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
because
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's going into all my scripts.
So thank you guys for doing what you do.
Oh, love you, Lauren. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep. He's going to go away. It's amazing to me when I'm out exercising. Sometimes that's when your brain is at its best.
Yeah.
Your ideas, and that's such a good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, we're going over time.
Okay.
I just wanted to lay this one comment up because I hear the same thing you do from agents and from people I'm coaching. I don't like doing this. I don't like networking, or I don't like, all the way down to I don't like knocking on doors. When someone knocks on my door, I don't like it. And I love coaching because you can be kind of a smart ass sometimes, and it's professional.
Yeah.
My answer is always, great. Don't knock on your own door. You are not the client. Stop assuming everybody's like you.
That's right.
I don't like doing this. Good. Don't do it for yourself. But that doesn't impact at all everybody else. You are not the client.
Yeah, in its most conservative form, Sean, behavior is broken down into 4 quadrants. So you've got 75% chance that how you are and who you are and how you show up is indifferent to 75% of the population. So they don't see the world the way you do. And that is true.